Salem faithful, grab your popcorn and settle in, because if you've been riding the Days of Our Lives roller coaster as long as I have through Stefano's endless resurrections, Vivian's multiple deaths, and every Dimera scheme that ever made us scream at the TV, you know, this current storyline is pure classic soap catnip. Vivian Alamane and her devoted butler Ivan have vanished into thin air under the most suspicious circumstances imaginable, and the entire town and us viewers are left clutching our pearls, wondering, are they really gone forever, or is E.J. Dimera pulling the strings of the most deliciously diabolical revenge plot we've seen? Since the days of the old tunnels under the Dimera mansion, let me tell you longtime fans, my gut and every clue the show has dropped is screaming that Vivian and Ivan are very much alive. They're not pushing up daisies in some forgotten grave. They're being held captive somewhere dark and dramatic by what I can only describe as a secret Dimera fan club. Yes, you read that right. Not just the core Dimera family, though. EJ is absolutely at the center of this, but a shadowy network of obsessed loyalists who treat the Dimera legacy like a religion. Think Stefano's old henchmen, fanatical admirers who've been lurking in the background for years, and maybe even a few surprised Salem residents who've been secretly drinking the Dimera Kool-Aid. This isn't some random kidnapping. It's organized, calculated, and dripping with the kind of over-the-top vengeance that only Days of Our Lives can deliver. Let's rewind and look at exactly how this nightmare unfolded, because the writers have been laying breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel in a hurricane. We all remember the explosive kidnapping plot that rocked the Alamane and Dimera families just weeks ago. Vivian, never one to stay in the background, teamed up with Ivan in one of her signature schemes, snatching a key. Dimera air right out from under EJ's nose as part of some convoluted power play involving old family grudges and hidden fortunes. It was classic Vivian, glamorous, ruthless, and utterly unapologetic. Ivan, her rock-solid shadow, handled the logistics with that deadpan loyalty we've come to adore. But EJ, oh honey, EJ doesn't forget. He doesn't forgive. The man is the walking embodiment of Dimera wrath, and this was the final straw. Sources close to the set, okay, my eagle-eyed watching of every episode have hinted that EJ's icy stare during those confrontation scenes wasn't just acting, it was foreshadowing. You took what was mine, his eyes seemed to say. Now I'm taking everything from you. Then came the disappearance. No dramatic shootout. No screaming headlines in the Salem Spectator, just poof. Vivian and Ivan were supposed to meet a contact in a dimly lit Alamania back alley, that fictional European hotspot the show loves, to trot out for international intrigue. 1 minute they're arguing in that unmistakable Vivian Ivan banter. We all live for the next gone. No bodies, no ransom note, no security footage that makes any sense. The police are baffled. Maggie is pacing the Kyriakis living room in pearls and panic. And even Victor's ghost rest, his soul would be raising an eyebrow at how perfectly orchestrated this vanishing act was. EJ, of course, has the perfect alibi dining at the pub with family, looking every inch the concerned citizen, but we know better. That man's hands are dirtier than the Dimera crypt after a Stefano, resurrection, and then the tombstone. Oh my goodness. The tombstone scene in recent episodes has us all reeling. There it was, carved in cold marble right in the heart of Alamania Vivian. Alamane, beloved mother, eternal schemer. The camera lingered on that inscription like it was taunting us. The wind, howling leaves, swirling, and the score swelling with those ominous strings that always signal trouble. We saw EJ standing there in a perfectly tailored black coat, a single rose in hand. His expression, a masterpiece of feigned grief mixed with something far darker satisfaction. The show even gave us a close-up of Ivan's empty butler uniform, folded neatly beside it like some macabre memorial. In any other show this would be game over, but this is Days of Our Lives, darlings. Tombstones have been fake out since the 1980s. Remember when Marlena was dead for years, only to return with a twin, or when Vivian herself faked her own demise to crawl out of a coffin? The writers are practically winking at the camera here. That stone isn't closure, it's a cliffhanger in granite. So why do we believe they're alive and captive by a Dimera fan? Club first, the total lack of bodies. In Soapland, if there's no corpse, there's no death period. Second, the subtle clues sprinkled throughout recent episodes, a mysterious phone call EJ took where he whispered, "The package is secure. Keep them quiet." The way a hooded figure was spotted lurking near the Dimera. Tunnels, the same tunnels that have hidden everything from prisoners to secret labs over the decades. And most telling, the sudden appearance of those fringe Dimera loyalists we have barely seen before, that creepy old associate of Stefano's who always wore the emerald pin, the former Titan employee who mysteriously quit right after the kidnapping, and whispers of an online Dimera Legacy Society that's been recruiting in Salem's shadows. I'm calling it the Dimera Fan Club because that's exactly what it feels like, a cult of personality built around EJ and the late great Stefano, complete with coded meetings and fanatical devotion. These aren't just hired thugs. These are true believers who think Vivian's crime against the family bloodline deserves eternal punishment, not a quick bullet. They want her to suffer slowly, locked away where she can hear every Dimera victory while Ivan paces in the next cell, muttering his dry British one-liners. Imagine the drama unfolding from here, because the writers are clearly setting up something epic. Picture this weeks of subtle hints Vivian's signature perfume, mysteriously wafting through the Dimera mansion during a family dinner, making EJ freeze mid-sip. Ivan's beloved pocket watch turning up in a pawn shop with a note, scrawled in his handwriting, "Tell no one." Then the big reveal episode, maybe during a sweeps week. Cliffhanger where a guilt-ridden Dimera relative, I'm betting on a conflicted Chad or even a surprise returnee, stumbles upon the secret holding cell deep beneath the family compound. There they are, Vivian, still in her designer prison garb, hair perfectly coiffed because she's Vivian, firing off insults at her captors like the queen she is. Ivan, ever the gentleman, polishing silverware he's fashioned from scrap metal while plotting their escape. The fan club members masked, robed, chanting Stefano's name like it's a prayer. EJ standing at the center, torn between his need for revenge and the creeping realization that his club has gone rogue and might be turning on the entire Dimera empire. The emotional payoff is going to be massive. Think Vivian confronting EJ in a raw, tear-streaked monologue about family loyalty and how even Stefano would be ashamed of this level of obsession. Ivan finally getting his hero moment, sacrificing himself momentarily to buy Vivian time. Alliances shifting, maybe Kristen or Tony getting pulled in, old grudges resurfacing, and yes, even a crossover with the Kyriakis clan when Philip or Xander realizes the fan club has been siphoning Titan funds to finance their underground prison. We're talking betrayals, gunfights in the tunnels, a daring helicopter rescue because it's Days of Our Lives, and that glorious moment when Vivian struts back into Salem's society, like she never left, ready to rain hell on everyone who doubted her. Fans, I've been dissecting this show since the 90s, and this feels like the writers are giving us everything we crave, suspense that keeps us up at night, characters we love to hate and hate to love, and plot twists that make us yell, "I knew it" at the screen. The Tombstone, just theater. The Disappearance, stage 1 of the longest con in Salem history. And that Dimera fan club, they're the perfect villainous collective, anonymous enough to surprise us, connected enough to tie back to every legacy character. So tell me, fellow Days Watchers, what do you think? Are you team "they're really dead though, I'll fight you" on that, or team captive fan club? Revenge saga. Will Vivian escape and immediately team up with Kate for double the chaos? Is Ivan secretly working an angle we haven't seen? Drop your theories in the comments, because this story is far from over. And I, for one, cannot wait to see how it all explodes. Salem has never looked more dangerous or more delicious.